Hey everybody. I apologize for not being able to be there today. My adult responsibilities have taken me across the other side of North America, so hopefully it doesn't take away from what I intend to say today. But first off, I just want to say congratulations to Noah. I never got the chance to actually meet Noah. I believe we just crossed paths in the year of 2013, but from what I understand, he graduated in 2018 and is already getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it obviously speaks to the kind of person and the athlete that he was. So I just want to say congratulations, Noah. Great accomplishment. For me, it's been a very uh, crazy journey. It all started in Swift Current in grade 10. I did my first race in Rosetown, Saskatchewan, in a farmer's field, I can recall. And it was a big deal because there was a guy that placed top 20 at provincials that year. And I ended up beating him by about 2 minutes in that race. And I got the first taste of winning, which really inspired me to keep going. And that year at provincials, I actually, it's probably for a good thing. I got humbled. I absolutely got dominated. And I think I placed the highest I ever have in a cross country race, even considering the world championships. And positioning high in cross country obviously is a bad thing. So I just recall in the last 100 meters of that race, a guy passed me with a cigarette in his mouth. And I literally couldn't believe it. And it just irritated me. And then, so it created this fire inside of me and I wanted to train harder. And the following year was in Bigger, Saskatchewan. It's probably one of the hardest races I've ever had. And I ended up placing 10th in grade 11. And that year I was the second Wiebe across the finish line. So that kind of irritated me. And then the following year, I was able to train a little bit harder and came to provincials ready, hopefully grab a gold medal in the race. But off the start of the race, I got tripped up and I ended up getting trampled by the entire field and starting in last place. And I ended up placing second in that race. But like I said, I felt like that year I had great potential to finish first. So it inspired me even further to train harder and keep getting better. And luckily that performance, it allowed me to get recruited by the University of Regina. And from there, I was under the tutelage of Graham McMaster, as we call him, Doc. And that's essentially where all my, unforgettable memories started with the University of Regina. So Doc and we traveled the world together. I raced and competed for Team Canada on several occasions. Competed in China twice, Japan, Australia, the Caribbean a couple times, South America, and all over Europe. And I can honestly say I had some of the best experiences I ever have in my entire life. I met some amazing people all over the world, and some of them are still friends of mine. And none of it would have been possible without the community that I had behind me. And there's that old saying, it takes a community to create a champion. And in my case was no different. I was in university, I was a poor university student, just like everybody else. And I wouldn't have been able to go to some of these international experiences if it wasn't for the university helping me out. And I'm just extremely grateful for the university, providing some funding and helping me out get to these international competitions so I can get the most out of myself and experience things that ended up making the person who I am today. So super grateful for the University of Regina. I also want to thank my teammates. Looking back, I often wonder why I became the person that I was and the athlete that I was. And I often think it's the team that I had behind me. And I'm sure a lot of my teammates can vouch for this, but I feel like we were more of a family than we were a team. We had we had such a dynamic group and so many people from uh, just different with different personalities. There was the guys that were there for strictly comic relief. It seemed like we had uh, the people that would keep you in check if you got a little bit too cocky. Yeah, the competitors like Matt Johnson and Ian Fife and Carissa LePage that just inspired me to be a better athlete and be a better person. And the vibes were always just positive all the time. And I think it was really important to be around that kind of atmosphere to develop as an athlete and to get better every single day. And I also want to thank, obviously, my family and my friends. My family was always in my corner no matter what. If I had a bad race or if I had a good race, it didn't really matter. They're always behind me. I want to thank my coaches, Bruce McCannell. Bruce was always that calm and collective voice. Anytime I needed like that right opinion or that right piece of advice, it might not have been the piece of advice that I wanted to hear, but it was the right piece of advice that I needed at that time. Bruce was always the guy that I would go to. He was just level-headed, calm and collective. And anytime I did have to make a hard decision, Bruce would 100% back me up every single time. So I'm just super appreciative of Bruce throughout the years of university and today. And last but not least, I just want to thank uh, my personal coach, Graham McMaster, or as we call him, Doc. To me, Doc, and I know a lot of my teammates, Doc was more than just a coach. Doc was a father figure, and he's a guy that led by example. He was one of the most passionate people I've ever come across. He um, he taught us a lot about running and probably a little bit more about life. He taught us to be competitors. He taught us to be role models and lead by example. He taught us that when you committed to something, it was important to go 100% in and not just half-ass it. You know, it. He taught us to also to just to never quit. And I remember one vivid memory that's going to be with me forever. Was in Spain. I was racing at the World Cross Country Championships, and that was probably the best race of my life. And I had nothing else to give in the last 100, 200 meters. And there was Doc, because Doc was always there. Doc was in the middle of the course, screaming at me. And he's telling me to pass this guy named Cam Levins, who's now the marathon record holder in Canada. And I was just nipping on his heels, and I was trying to be the first Canadian at the World Championships. And there was Doc right in the middle of the course screaming. Guys probably wondering what the heck he was doing. But it was oftentimes situations like that that just helped me get across the line, because I knew Doc was super passionate about what he did. He cared a lot about us. And I just never wanted to let him down. And I'm super appreciative of Doc and everything he's done for us, and especially myself. And I find it quite fitting that Doc's going to be accepting the award for me today. I consider this award, this induction, as much his as it is mine. And I hope that everyone can give him a big round of applause when he goes on stage. I know he'll appreciate it, and I know I will as well. So last thing I want to talk about, something that means a lot to me, is giving back to the people that follow me, the younger generation. And I can't share my direct experiences with you guys, but I hope that I can share some of the lessons that I learned along the way, and hopefully you guys can take something away from it and hopefully not make the same mistakes. So number one, one thing that I always live by with running, and something I learned, especially in my later years of running, is consistency is king. So this is one of those things I learned the hard way. In my early years of university, I was injured all the time. And that was simply just because my willingness to win exceeded my durability. And I had absolutely no shortage of willingness to win. I wanted to win as much as I wanted to breathe. I can recall one time I was like, if I could trade every second breath for a better chance to win, I would take it. And that willingness and want to win just caused me to train extremely hard. I wanted to work harder than everybody else. And oftentimes I'd be running 140, 150 miles a week and putting in the work. That was no problem at all for me to put in the work. But the hardest thing for me, and Doc can vouch for this, is it was hard for me to pull back when I needed to. And for me to be consistent, what I needed to do was dot my I's, cross my T's in terms of stretching and rest and recovery, and taking a day off a week just to allow my body to adapt to the training. And as I got older throughout university, I finally figured it out, and I was able to spend, instead of days and weeks together, I was able to spend months and years together. And when I was able to do that, that's when I started winning national championships. That's when I started competing my best at the world championships. So consistency is going to look a lot different for everybody. For me, it was a durability thing, but for others, it might be a mental thing. So at the end of a season or at the end of a game or a race, some people might need to take a mental break, have a chocolate bar, ride their pony around or something like that. But it's going to look different for everybody. You got to find a way to be consistent with your training and in your racing, both physically and mentally. Number two, one of the big things that I learned was that you can't be afraid to fail. What can I say with this? So I can honestly say that I have been humbled, and I've looked like a downright idiot in so many situations, both in my athletics career, but also my career that I'm in now, where I thought I knew something, or I thought I was better than the person over here, and I got absolutely crushed or humbled. And that's absolutely fine. It's okay. You're not going to know everything. You're not going to be better than everybody, at least right now. What you have to take away is the lessons to be learned from your mistakes. And if I have this saying where you can never truly fail if you learn something from your mistakes. And yeah, you have to take that. You have to take that seriously. Like, you cannot be afraid to fail. I think some of the best or most wealthy people in the world, the people at the top of the financial world, they'd be the first ones to tell you that they have failed their way to success. It's lessons are very, or failure is a very valuable thing in terms of learning, and you can't take it for granted. The third thing that I've learned along the way, you have to have the ability to control your emotions. I've been in call tents with Olympic medalists at the World Championships. And if people don't know what a call tent is, essentially where a group of racing in the same event go to prior to the event starting, just to maintain schedule. So you're all together, all your competitors are together, sitting on chairs looking at each other probably 20, 30 minutes before a race. At the World Championships, it's longer because they try to maintain the schedule a little bit tighter. But I've been in these call tents with the Olympic medalists, and the thing that I notice is they're absolute masters of their emotions. They don't look like they get nervous. They don't, at the end of a race, or they don't get too high when they have a bad race or get injured or something like that. They don't get too low. It's just they've come to terms with the fact that if they have the ability to control their emotions and stay on an even keel, that's going to better suit them in the long run, and it's going to promote the longevity of their career. And that goes a lot. It's important for life too. I mean, how often have you witnessed an argument where the person that's just going on berserk comes out, on the upper hand of the argument? It's never happens. The person that can maintain a level head in a situation, that's better off in that situation. So control your emotions. And another aspect of that also is at the end of a game or a race, it's very important to consider other people that are watching, especially the younger generations. We have to carry ourselves and see ourselves as professional athletes. We have to conduct ourselves in a positive manner and realize that there is a younger generation watching our every move, and they're looking up to us, and they're keying off of what we're doing. So we have to realize that if we do have a bad game or a bad race, hold your head up high, shake the hand of your opponent and say, I'll get you next time. But it's never a good thing to hold your head down and sulk about something, because these younger generations, we have to inspire them to be role models for the generations that come after them. And the last thing I just want to say is at the end of the day, we have to be happy. Don't take life too seriously. It's I know nerves can get the better half of a lot of people, and I was that way too. Nerves got to me. I was always focusing on the test that I had to write next week and stuff like that. And it's important to be, do really well in school and all that kind of stuff. And it's important to commit to something once you start something 100%. But just don't let things stress you out to the extent where you can't function anymore. I mean, it's so important just to be happy. And at the end of the day, you got to realize that it's the relationships and the experiences that we have that actually means something. The material things, the money, you can always work. There's always work to be had. Don't worry about, the work. Don't worry about the money. You're going to leave this world the same way that you come in. It's you gotta worry about the experiences. You gotta be happy, the relationships that you have with other people, and the legacy that you leave behind. And I hope that the legacy that I leave behind is one that's positive, that I can inspire future generations and the people that follow behind me. I really hope that people can be inspired to get the most out of themselves, work hard, and fully commit to things once they start, and never quit. It will pay off in the end. I was in the same boat of sacrificing social occurrences with my friends and family, but it paid off in the end, guys. I experienced things that not many people can say they have. I've been around the world racing, met some amazing people, had some unbelievable races that I'll never forget. Will be with me forever, and hopefully I can share with my kids. And I think it should be a goal of everyone sitting here today to lead by example and inspire the generations that follow. So that's all I got to say today. And I just want to say I'm really, really thankful for this award, and I'm very humbled and appreciative. So thank you very much, and all the best. Thank you.